you couldn't streak anymore on the website. Oh, that was Connecticut. But hey, oddly enough, they ended up taking it down. So I'm not sure what's going on, but we'll see how this is gonna play out, if you will. Okay, it's on. The audio is on.
They said he was disrupted.
Can you guys hear?
That's what they said. I'll ask it again.
All right. Perfect. Can you guys hear my 3D printer printing in the background? That's why I've been muting my mic, because I'm 3D printing some a stand for my laptop, and I didn't think it was gonna take this long. It's only like 50%, and I think I started printing last night like at 8. You guys can hear it? All right. Somebody else was able to hear it. Does Washington State offer? I think Washington State does offer live streams. See, it's loud. How do you guys think I've been getting these firme combs right here? I got 3 or 4 now, because I lost some bristles on this one right here. The old printer. Make a Wizinator shirt.
Is there any way we can bring him in at the end?
I'm 3D printing.
She wants to bring his wife in, who's on the 2. She moved her to 11. We need to bring her in, and then she wants to do them together if we can. At the end, it's fine. Or he can at least be in the gallery.
Is she on the thing too?
No, she just added her. So Holly.
Okay, I'll figure it out. All right.
Colorado does.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Commissioner Hughes. This is the 11 a.m. initial appearance calendar for Thursday, April 3rd. Do I have a court interpreter on the line?
Yes, ma'am. Martin Hernandez, court interpreter.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hernandez. I'll give you an opportunity to translate that if you want to.
Yes. Buenos días a todos. Soy la comisionada Hughes. Esta es la lista de casos de las 11 de la mañana para hoy, jueves 3 de abril.
The court's orders for the taking of DNA samples and fingerprints issued on the first calendar of April will apply to the hearings on this calendar.
La orden emitida en la primera lista de casos celebrada en este mes de abril para la toma de huellas digitales y muestras de ADN aplicará a esta lista de casos.
That's a good question, Robin.
As we get started in here this morning, I will call each of you into the courtroom one at a time.
Al empezar esta mañana con esta lista de casos, les llamaré uno por uno a que pasen a la sala.
I will ask one of you to stand behind this gray podium here in front of me in the courtroom. I'll ask the next 2 people I intend to call into the courtroom to line up in the 2 chairs right inside this door.
A la primera persona que llame, quiero que entre a la sala y se ponga de pie detrás del podio que está en el centro de la sala. Las siguientes 2 personas pasarán a tomar asiento en las sillas que están justo aquí en la sala.
Once you work your way into the courtroom, I will start by asking you to state your full name and date of birth.
Una vez que hayan entrado a la sala y estén presentes ante mí, empezaré por pedirles que digan su nombre completo y fecha de nacimiento.
Then I will explain to you why you're here this morning, and I will tell you whether you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, sometimes called a public defender, to represent you for what it is you're here on.
Les explicaré luego por qué están aquí y les diré si califican para que se les nombre un abogado de libre oficio o la defensoría pública.
Whether or not you qualify for a court-appointed lawyer, you all have the right to hire private counsel to defend you in a criminal case if you wish to.
Así califiquen para abogado de libre oficio o no, Todos tienen derecho de contratar un abogado particular si quieren para que les asesore.
Hey, I looked up
After
Hawaii.
we talk
Look
about
at this.
lawyers, I will give you the next court hearing dates and times you'll be required to attend. And last, we'll talk about whether you are eligible for release from custody and if you are, on what terms and conditions.
Can you guys see that?
Después
I
de
highlighted in
hablar de
blue.
los abogados, hablaré acerca de sus siguientes fechas de comparecencias, la fecha y hora que tendrá que presentarse y finalmente hablaremos de si califica para libertad provisional y si es que califica, cuáles serán las medidas
What about
cautelares o condiciones de su libertad.
In addition to the right to the assistance of counsel, you all also have the right to remain silent. Anything that you do choose to say in the courtroom this morning can be used against you.
Aparte del derecho de tener un abogado, todos tienen derecho de no hablar. Cualquier cosa que digan aquí en la sala el día de hoy podría usarse en su contra.
You're welcome.
Unless you have made arrangements with a private lawyer, there will not be a lawyer in the courtroom this morning for purposes of your defense.
A menos que ya hayan contratado un abogado particular, no habrá un abogado presente en la sala el día de hoy con el fin de defenderlo.
Because there won't be a lawyer in here to defend you and because anything you say could be used against you, I will strongly caution all of you not to make any statements regarding the facts about why you're here.
Por motivo de que no habrá un abogado aquí hoy para defenderlo.
Hey, right
Yo
now while we're
les
waiting, I'm going to
aconsejo
go ahead and turn it down for a moment.
que
So I'm
no
going to ask you
hablen
guys for a
acerca
small
de
little
los
favor. Nah,
hechos
I don't need you to
que
send me money.
tengan
But
que
what I
ver
do
con
need you
su
to do
caso.
is if you guys go ahead
Porque
and
esas
whenever you guys
cosas
have a
podrían
chance, check my
usarse en su
videos,
contra.
either the last 2-3
Last
videos that I
thing before
posted
we
up
get
on this
started is
account,
that all of the
drop some
information
comments,
that you get
repost
while
it,
you're in the courtroom
and
will be in a written
help me
document
out here.
that you
That's
will
all
be
I'm asking, for a
handed
little
when
bit
you
of
step
help,
back
so
into the
we can
room
go
that
ahead and
you're in
turn
right
this
now.
into something.
Please
If you
keep
guys
that with
appreciate
you
these
wherever
streams,
you go
that's the
from
only
here
thing
so
I
you
ask.
have all the information you got while you were in the
sharing,
courtroom.
dropping comments, gifts are not required. They are appreciated,
Finalmente,
but they're not
toda la
required because I know it's tough
información
out there, so I
que
know how it
yo
is, all
les
right?
dé hoy vendrá escrita en un documento que se les entregará al final de su comparecencia y se llevarán con ustedes a la sala donde están sentados. Guarden ese papel para que mantengan
Hey,
toda
man,
la
that's what I'm
información
looking
que
for.
yo les dé el día de hoy.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Can I please
Thank
have
you.
Juan Albaron Hernandez into the courtroom behind the podium? Rafael Rivera.
Go ahead, Judge, sorry.
Go ahead.
That's right,
I'm
House.
sorry. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you.
Hernandez.
Appreciate that.
Vamos a empezar con Juan Albarrán, que pase,
And honestly, if
entre
you
a la
watch it on
sala y se ponga
YT,
de
that'll
pie
help me out
detrás
even
del
more because
podio.
I'll generate some income from that.
If
So
I
if you
could
can watch
get
on
Rafael
YT, that'll help me out
Rivera
tremendously also.
Caraballo and Javier Gomez Salcido to take a seat in the two chairs right inside this door.
Ahora quiero que Rafael Caraballo y Javier Salcedo pasen a tomar asiento en las dos sillas que están justo adentro de esta puerta.
Right there, there's a chair. Have a seat in it, please.
Donde esté la silla, tomen asiento ahí, por favor.
Okay, can I please have your full name and date of birth?
Por favor, dígame su nombre completo y fecha de nacimiento.
Juan Daniel Albarrán Hernández, 3 de enero 2005.
Juan Daniel Albarrán Hernández, January 3rd, 2005.
Thank you very much, sir. You are here on a new allegation. It is one count of unlawful flight from a law enforcement vehicle, a Class 5 felony.
Gracias, señor. Usted comparece el día de hoy por una acusación de huir en vehículo de una patrulla del orden público, un delito de categoría 5.
I have found probable cause to support that allegation, and I have appointed a lawyer to defend you.
Dicto que hay fundamento fáctico para respaldar esa acusación y le ha asignado un abogado.
Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 17th and a preliminary hearing April 21st, both of them at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown.
Su siguiente comparecencia será una consulta de actualización el 17 de abril. Luego tendrá una audiencia preliminar el día 21 de abril. Ambas serán a las 8:30 de la mañana en el Tribunal Superior en el centro de la ciudad.
I am releasing you to the supervision of pretrial services on this allegation, so you will be released from custody, but you will be responsible for contacting pretrial after you are released.
Lo dejaré en libertad bajo la supervisión de la Agencia de Control de Procesados. Usted será puesto en libertad, pero será responsable de ponerse en comunicación con la Agencia de Control de Procesados una vez que lo dejen salir.
Pretrial's contact information will be in a packet that you get with your release order, so please keep that.
La información para contactar a la Oficina de Control de Procesados vendrá en la hoja que se le dé enseguida. Por favor, guárdela.
Last thing, once you're out of custody, you cannot operate any motor vehicle that you don't have a license to operate.
Y finalmente, cuando salga, tendrá prohibido manejar un vehículo motorizado si no tiene licencia para conducir ese vehículo.
I am going to sell them for $59.99.
Do you understand all of those conditions?
¿Entiende estas condiciones?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can step back to your left and get your paperwork.
Hey, what up,
Bien,
Salud?
gracias. Recoja su hoja.
Sorry, could I ask you to step behind the podium for the next
They're
couple of
made for
hearings?
everything.
One of you.
For your eyebrows,
Yeah.
for your pits, for that region down under, wherever you want. Yeehaw! Thank you. Highly appreciate
Okay,
that.
can I have Rafael Rivera
100.
Caraballo into the courtroom, please?
Rafael Rivera Caraballo, pase a la sala, por favor.
Thank you, Jennifer. Highly appreciate you. Just watch the Petco video.
Can I have your name and
Make
date
that
of
one go
birth, please, sir?
viral.
Su nombre
Rafael
completo y
Rivera
fecha de
Caraballo.
nacimiento, por favor, señor.
Rafael José Rivera Caraballo, 18. Fecha de nacimiento es 23/12/85.
Rafael Juan Rivera, pardon the interpreter, Judge. Rafael José Rivera Caraballo, 18.
Sí.
Date of birth, 12/23/1985.
Thank you very much, sir. You are here on allegations of new charges.
Gracias, señor. Usted comparece el día de hoy por acusaciones nuevas.
Before I get to those, I believe the state wishes to appear on this matter. Appearance of counsel for the state, please.
Antes de eso, parece que
Hey,
el
what up,
Estado desea hacer notar su presencia, abogada fiscal.
Thank you, Your Honor. Brooke Gone, behalf of the state.
He came dressed for
Gracias,
court.
su señoría Brooke Gaunt, de
Looks like
parte
a
del
nice
Estado.
shirt there.
Good morning, Ms. Gaunt. Thank you for being here.
Buenos días, abogada Gaunt. Gracias por estar aquí.
Okay, Mr. Rivera, the allegations against you are one count of theft of a means of transportation, a Class 3 felony.
Bien, señor Rivera, las acusaciones que hay en su contra son robo de un medio de transporte, un delito de categoría 3.
That fool was probably at the club.
One count of trafficking in stolen property, also a Class 3 felony.
Send
Una
me a message. I'm
acusación
mailing it out to
de
you.
tráfico de propiedad robada, un delito de categoría 3 también.
And 2 counts of forgery, both Class 4 felonies.
Y 2 cargos de falsificación, ambos son delitos de categoría 4.
Based on my review of the information provided to me by law enforcement, I have found probable cause to support those allegations.
Basándome en la información que he leído presentada por el orden público, dicto que hay fundamento fáctico para esas acusaciones.
I have also appointed a lawyer to defend you.
También le ha asignado abogado para que le defienda.
Your next court hearings on these allegations will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th, both at 8:30 downtown.
Sus siguientes comparecencias por motivo de estas acusaciones serán una consulta de actualización el 9 de abril y una audiencia preliminar el 11 de abril, ambas comparecencias a las 8:30 de la mañana en el Tribunal Superior del centro de la ciudad.
Can I please have the argument or recommendation regarding release conditions in this matter on behalf of the state?
De parte del Estado, me presenta su argumento respecto a las condiciones o las medidas cautelares para este acusado.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's asking for a $50,000 cash-only bond.
Gracias, su señoría. El Estado está pidiendo una fianza de $50,000 en efectivo.
She's probably a lawyer.
Mr. Rivera was allegedly in possession of a stolen vehicle and multiple forged documents, including a forged driver's license and
Okay,
insurance card.
El señor Rivera fue encontrado en posesión de varios documentos falsificados, incluyendo una licencia de conducir y tarjeta de seguro vehicular.
This is Maricopa County,
Law
Arizona.
enforcement found evidence of a sophisticated car theft scheme.
Your Honor, pardon the interpreter, law enforcement found evidence of, can I hear that again?
A sophisticated car theft scheme.
Ooh.
Y los agentes del orden público encontraron indicios de una red o un emprendimiento sofisticado para el robo de vehículos.
Damn it. This one ain't going
Our
nowhere.
understanding is that Mr. Rivera resides in Texas and may have traveled to Arizona in order to commit these offenses.
Tenemos entendido que el señor Rivera radica en Texas y que posiblemente viajó a Arizona para cometer estos ilícitos.
Our understanding is that he is a Venezuelan national and he lacks legal status in the United States.
Venezuelan.
Tenemos entendido que él es ciudadano venezolano y que no tiene estado migratorio legal en los Estados Unidos.
The state is
Michigan
concerned that he is
ever? I
a
don't
significant
know.
flight
I'll
risk.
check it out.
Thank you.
Le preocupa al Estado que él sea
Hey, this
propenso
fool,
a la fuga.
he might be
Gracias.
going to El Salvador.
Thank you, Ms. Gaunt. I have heard and am considering the
mierda se
arguments
vi para
made
El
by the
Salvador?
state. I'm
No,
also
hombre.
considering my
Allá se
review
nos
of
hicieron
the
a tronar.
factual allegations and my review of the defendant's criminal history.
Gracias, abogada Gaunt. Estoy tomando en cuenta el argumento presentado por el Estado y también estoy
Didn't
tomando
work.
en cuenta lo que he leído referente al
If you-
historial penal del acusado y los hechos que se alegan en este caso.
Hell yeah. I want to go to it. I want to go check it out.
I am imposing a $50,000 secured appearance bond in this matter.
Voy a requerir una fianza de $50,000 en este caso.
If that bond is posted, Mr. Rivera, you cannot have any contact with alleged victims, witnesses, or co-defendants of the underlying allegations.
Señor Rivera, si usted presta esa fianza, tendrá prohibido tener contacto con las personas afectadas, testigos o coacusados que haya.
Anything else I need to address in this matter, Ms. Gaunt?
Abogada Gaunt, ¿algo más que haya que tratar?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No, su señoría, gracias.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Rivera, do you understand all of those conditions?
Muchas gracias. Señor Rivera, ¿ha entendido todas estas condiciones?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can work your way back to your left and get your paperwork.
Muy bien, pase a la izquierda y recoja su hoja.
Next, can I please have Javier Gomez Salcido into the courtroom? Malachi Mayfield Chavez, you will be up next if you'll work your way to the chair.
Javier Gómez Salcedo, pase a la sala tras el podio.
Can I please have your name and date of birth, sir?
Diga su nombre completo y fecha de nacimiento, señor.
Javier Gómez Salcedo, 4 de 1984.
Your Honor, pardon the interpreter. I'm not sure I understood the first name asked for repetition.
Sure, and if you could also ask him to take a step forward. He's standing a little bit far away from the podium.
Yes, ma'am. Señor, acérquese un paso más al micrófono, por favor, porque está un poco retirado. Diga otra vez más lentamente su nombre completo, por favor.
Jaiber Gómez Salcedo. Fecha de nacimiento el 4/4 de 1984.
My name is Jaiber Gómez Salcedo. My date of birth is April 4, 94. 84, pardon the interpreter.
Thank you very much, sir. An appearance of counsel for the state.
Abogada fiscal,
Brooke Gaunt on behalf of the state.
Brooke Gaunt, de parte del Estado.
Thank you, Ms. Gaunt. Mr. Gomez, you are here on an allegation of a new charge. The allegation is one count of trafficking in stolen property, a Class 2 felony.
Gracias, abogada Gaunt. Señor Gómez, usted comparece el día de hoy por una acusación nueva de tráfico en propiedad robada, un delito de categoría 2.
I have found probable cause to support that allegation, and I have appointed a lawyer to defend you.
What this dude do?
Dicto que hay fundamento fáctico para esa acusación y he asignado un abogado para que le defienda.
Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th, both of them at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown.
Trafficking.
Sus siguientes comparecencias serán una consulta de actualización el día 9 de abril y una audiencia preliminar el día 11 de abril a las 8:30 ambas, y serán en el Tribunal Superior en el centro de la ciudad.
Can I please have argument and recommendation regarding release conditions from the state?
Me presenta la abogada del Estado sus argumentos respecto a las medidas cautelares para el acusado.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state's asking for a $50,000 cash-only bond.
I'm looking
Gracias
at
a
it
su
right now.
señoría, el Estado está pidiendo una fianza de $50,000 en efectivo.
The reasons are substantially the same as the request for his accomplice, Mr. Rivera.
Las razones son básicamente las mismas que se han pedido para su cómplice, el señor Rivera.
Oh, you went to the wrong one. Go to Connecticut.
Additionally, Mr. Gomez Salcido made admissions, so the state believes there is a strong weight of the evidence.
Adicionalmente, el señor Gómez Salcido reconoció ciertos hechos, entonces sentimos que las pruebas son contundentes.
Additionally, it's the state's understanding that Mr. Gomez is also a Venezuelan national and lacks legal status in the United States.
Entendemos también que el señor Gómez es ciudadano venezolano y no tiene permiso legal de estar en los Estados Unidos.
The state believes that he's a significant flight risk, Your Honor. Thank you.
El Estado le estima como propenso a la fuga, su señoría.
Thank you, Ms. Gaunt. I am imposing a $50,000 secured appearance bond on this allegation.
Impondré una fianza de $50,000 en este caso.
If that bond is posted, Mr. Gomez, you are not to have any contact with alleged victims, witnesses, or co-defendants, and you cannot possess any weapons.
Si usted presta esa fianza, señor Gómez, tendrá prohibido tener contacto con cualquier persona afectada, con testigos que haya habido o los coacusados que haya, y tendrá prohibido tener armas.
Do you understand all of those conditions?
¿Entiende estas condiciones?
Sí.
For sure.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You can work your way back to your left and get your paperwork.
Muchas gracias. Poder regresar y recoger su papel.
Mr. Interpreter, would you make a quick inquiry of the gallery, please, before I excuse you?
Yes, ma'am. Buenos días a todos. Soy el intérprete de la comisionada. Si hay alguna persona en la sala que no habla inglés y necesita el intérprete, por favor levante la mano ahora.
Officer, any hands raised?
No, there's nobody.
Okay, I'm told no hands were raised. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Interpreter. You are free to disconnect.
Thank you.
So
Okay,
Arizona.
can I please have Malachi Mayfield Chavez into the courtroom behind the podium? Alfonso Denga, if you would work your way to the first chair. Tamala James, if I could ask you to work your way to the
Arizona's
second chair.
playing under Connecticut. It
Can I
says
have your name and date
Connecticut
of
on
birth,
there.
please, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. My name is
Don't ask me
Malachi
why.
Mayfield Chavez. I was born 11/14/2006.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayfield Chavez. Officer, could I ask you to step behind also again? Thank you. Okay, appearance of counsel for the state.
Thank you, Your Honor. Brooke Gahn on behalf of the state.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gaunt. Okay, Mr. Mayfield Chavez, you are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of murder in the 2nd degree. It is a class 1 felony, and 1 count of carrying a deadly weapon while being under the age of 21. That is a class 3 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th, and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown.
Did somebody say flush?
Before I move to release conditions, does the state wish to be heard on release?
Your Honor, the state is not making a bond recommendation. However, the state would move to seal the Form 4 as well as the PC addendum, which I believe there's 2 versions that have been uploaded. Those documents contain information regarding an ongoing investigation, and to release those into the public record would jeopardize that investigation.
He's probably still a virgin.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gaunt. I will order the Form 4 sealed. I don't think, do we have that process done yet?
I can delete the addendum.
Okay, I don't think that I procedurally have the ability to seal uploaded documents other than the Form 4. So to the extent that you want them sealed, what I will order is that they be removed from the IA file, so they won't get uploaded in IA documents. If you would please communicate with whichever prosecutor takes this case to make sure that defense counsel gets access to those. I'm not intending to prohibit defense counsel from having them, but the only way for me to keep them out of the public record is to not upload them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Mr. Mayfield Chavez, what that was all about is there's a document that law enforcement provides to me called a Form 4 that contains law enforcement's factual allegations as to what happened and why you're here. That is the document that the court reviews to make a probable cause determination. The state has requested that that document be sealed, which means the state is asking that it not be available for public viewing. I have granted that motion, but I am asking Ms. Gaunt on behalf of the state to ask whoever is the assigned prosecutor down the line in this case to make sure that your assigned defense counsel does get access to that information so that your lawyer can use it if necessary to help prepare your defense.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In terms of release on this matter, I have imposed a $1 million secured appearance bond. If that bond is posted, you will be released to pretrial supervision for electronic monitoring. That means you'll have an ankle monitor installed if you post that bond before you're released. If you do post that bond and you're released on that ankle monitor, you are ordered not to return to the scene where the underlying alleged events took place. You cannot have contact with any alleged witnesses, co-defendants, or family members of the alleged deceased victim. You also cannot possess any weapons or possess or consume any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription if you are released from custody. Anything else I need to address before I excuse this matter, Ms. Gaunt?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Mayfield Chavez, do you understand all of those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You can work your way back to your left and get your paperwork. Ms. Gaunt, you are free to be excused if you wish to. Okay, can I please have Alfonso Denga to the podium in the courtroom? Tyler Bielkowitz, if you would work your way to the second chair. Ms. James, if you'll move to the first, please. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Jose Cutamanga, Alfonso Denga.
And what's your date of birth?
May 9th, 1977.
Thank you very much, Mr. Denga. You are here on 2 different matters. The first matter that you're here on is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 2 counts of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, both class 4 felonies. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On these allegations, I have imposed a $25,000 secured appearance bond. The second of the two matters that you're here on is an allegation that those new charges violated term 1 of your probation. I've appointed a lawyer for you in that probation case also. Your next court hearing in the probation matter will be a revocation arraignment April 10th. That one will also be at 8:30 downtown. On the probation violation matter, you are not eligible for release on bond. That means you will be held in custody without bail at least until April 10th when you see the probation judge. Because you will not be bond eligible at least until that hearing on the 10th in your probation case, you should wait until after that hearing before attempting to post the bond on the new allegations. Did you have a question, Mr. Danka?
And what's that probable cause you found?
Well, what do you mean? The probable cause is I found probable cause.
It was an illegal search and seizure, sir, ma'am.
Okay, talk to your lawyer about that. So my finding of probable cause means that based on the information, I'm not done with you, sir, come back. Sir, you don't choose when you're done. Bring him back in.
Sir, can you please go back to the podium?
It's illegal.
She's not done yet.
Come on back in, sir.
You want the same team as motherfuckers against me? I'm gonna listen to you. I'm gonna listen to you, man.
So my finding of probable cause was based on the fact that
Could
the
you ask me why
information
this
law
illegal search and
enforcement
seizure?
told me is that they did find possession of firearms in your property. My understanding
It
is
wasn't
you're
my
telling
property.
me that you think that this is an illegal seizure.
I'll tell
If
you
that
how.
is
I got the
true, that is part
timestamp.
of your defense. You'll talk to your lawyer about that. Your lawyer will help you prepare a defense. My finding of probable cause means that if the information law enforcement says they have, and is admissible at trial, it meets the elements of the crime. I am not saying that you have in fact committed these allegations. I'm saying that the information that I have to review would establish the elements of the crime if true and admissible. So I understand you saying that you don't think that that seizure was admissible. That is perfectly valid, and you will talk to your lawyer about that. Your lawyer will help you establish that and prepare it as your defense when you go to your next hearing. Thank you, Mr. Denga. You can now step back to your
I just want to make sure everything I said is on record.
It is, sir, yes.
All right.
All right.
Because I'm being victimized and I'm screaming for help, and you decided to look the other way, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. You can step back to your left. There you go.
Are they handcuffing that fool? I hear a dog in there too. They got a dog in
Okay.
there.
Kamala James, if you would work your way into the courtroom, please. Jamaire Krim, if I've pronounced that correctly, if I could ask you to work your way to that second chair. Behind this podium, if you would, please. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Yes, ma'am. I usually go by them, but Tamla James.
And what's your date of birth?
The 6/9/1983, it says it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. James. You are here on a probation violation warrant issued by the Yavapai County Superior Court. You're entitled to a lawyer to defend you in that probation violation proceeding. That lawyer will be appointed for you by the Yavapai County judge at your next court hearing. That hearing will be an arraignment hearing April 8th. It will be at 8:30 in the morning in the Yavapai County Superior Court. And on that warrant, you are not eligible for release on bond. That means you will be held in custody without bail at least until your next hearing on April 8th in Yavapai County. Do you understand that information?
I understand that information, but like I was saying, on top of that, I had a lot of important things to do for my child, and they just got me at the bad timing. And
yeah, I'm sorry that it was a bad time for you to be picked up on this warrant, but I don't have the authority to change the judge's condition on that you be held without bond. So you will stay in custody at least until your hearing on the 8th. All right, if you'll step back to your left, you can get your paperwork. Thank you. Tyler Bielkowitz, if you would work your way into the courtroom, please. Nikki Hill, if you would please work your way to the second chair.
Bedtime.
Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Tyler Belkewicz, 030499.
Thank you very much. Can you say it again? Bielkowitz?
Belkewicz.
Bill Kawich. Okay, thank you, sir. You are here on two different matters. The first matter that you're here on is a failure to appear warrant issued by the Superior Court when you didn't appear at a status conference in an existing felony drug case. In that case, you already have a lawyer assigned to defend you. That lawyer will continue to represent you. Your next hearing in that case will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 downtown. On that warrant, you have a $500 secured appearance bond. The second matter that you're here on is allegations of new charges. Those allegations are one count of narcotic drug possession, one count of shoplifting, they are both class 4 felonies, and one count of criminal trespassing, a class 3 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those new allegations and appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings on the new allegations will be in part the same as your hearings on the existing case. So you will have that status conference on the 9th, the preliminary hearing on the 11th. Those are the two that are the same. On the new allegations, because at least one of them is a felony offense alleged to have been committed while you were on release in that felony drug case, you are not eligible for release on bond. On those new allegations, you will be held in custody without bail, at least until an evidentiary hearing is held. That hearing will take place April 10th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Between now and that hearing on the 10th, you will not be eligible for release on bond on the new allegations. Do you understand that information?
So I'm not being released till the 10th.
Correct. You're not being released at least until the 10th. I cannot guarantee you will be released on the 10th, but on the 10th will be the first opportunity for you to potentially be released.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You can step back and get your paperwork. Jamire Krim to the podium in the courtroom, please. Otis Nash, if you would please work your way to the second chair.
Man, they definitely got a full docket today.
Jameer Krim, born June 5th, 2002.
Thank you very much. It's Jameer.
Yes.
Okay, my apologies. Thank you, Mr. Krim. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are one count of armed robbery, a class 2 felony, one count of unlawfully discharging a firearm in the city limits, one count of endangerment, one count of disorderly conduct involving weapons. Those three are all class 6 felonies. And finally, one count of assault, a class 1 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On these allegations, I have imposed a $75,000 secured appearance bond. Secured appearance means that you can use a bonding company to post that bond if you choose to. If you do post that bond and you are released from custody, you cannot go back to the scene where the underlying events allegedly took place. You also cannot have contact with any alleged victims or witnesses, and you cannot possess any weapons if you're released from custody.
Okay.
Do you understand those conditions?
Yes. May I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you say I'm allowed to have someone else post my bond, what do you mean by that? Like on different?
So you can use a bonding company.
Okay.
If you want to explore using, so the ways that you can get a bond posted are somebody could go to the 4th Avenue Bonds and Fines office and post it for you, could post the full $75,000 for you. You could use money on your jail books. If you had $75,000 on your account, you could use that to self-bond out. The third option is to use a bonding company. A bonding company is a company that would post that bond for you on whatever terms and conditions the bonding company imposes.
If I had $1,000, I wouldn't put it on my books.
There's a list of bonding companies and their phone numbers posted. You can find one of them and call all of the companies on that list if you want to. You can call them and find out what their specific requirements would be, what you would have to do in order to have them post that for you.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
That is correct, yes.
All right.
That is
Thank
the
you,
time.
Mr. Krim. You can step back and get your paperwork. Nikki Hill to the podium in the courtroom, please.
Hey.
Stephen Harvey, if you would please work your way to that
I'm going to walk to the
chair.
sheriff's office and be like, here, let me put $75,000 on this
Can I have your name
person's
and date of
book.
birth, please,
Come
sir?
on, I'm going to get arrested.
August 12th, 1989.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are one count of aggravated assault, a class 4 felony, one count of assault, class 1 misdemeanor, and one count of criminal damage, also a class 1 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On these allegations, I have imposed a $50,000 secured appearance bond. If you post that bond prior to your release from custody, you will be affixed with an ankle monitor for electronic monitoring. If you post that bond and you are released on that ankle monitor, you cannot go back to the scene where the underlying events took place. You cannot have contact with the alleged victim. You also cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription or any alcohol, and whether or not you're released from custody, you are ordered to comply with the terms of any orders of protection, if any have been or might later be served upon you. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hill. You can step back and get your paperwork.
Somebody asked me if I could hit this
Otis
mute
Nash
box.
to the podium in the courtroom, please. Willie Miles, if you would please work your way to the second chair.
Let me ask you, do
Can I have your
you
name and
think
date
I
of
would
birth,
be
please,
leaving this
My
up
name is
here if I
Otis
could?
Nash. My birthday is 11/28/1984.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nash. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of aggravated assault, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of disorderly conduct, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I have appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. Both of those hearings will be at 8:30 in the morning in the Superior Court downtown. Based on the nature of the allegations against you, as well as on a written victim impact statement, I have imposed a $25,000 secured appearance bond. If you post that prior to your release from custody, you will be affixed with an ankle monitor for electronic monitoring. If you post this bond and you are released on that ankle monitor, you cannot go back to the scene where these alleged events took place. You cannot have any contact with the alleged victim. You cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. And whether or not you are released from custody, you are ordered to comply with the terms of any orders of protection, if any have been or might later be served upon you. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, I work and I do go to therapy, and I just had a daughter. She was just born a few days ago. She's at the Banner Health on McDowell.
Okay.
So she's in EQ. Well, I'll be allowed to see my kid and still go to work and to therapy as well. I go to Terrace on 27th Avenue.
Yeah, so if you post this bond and you're released on that ankle monitor, I am not restricting your movement. So it's not house arrest. I'm not saying that you can't leave your house. It's just that where you go will be tracked. The only limitation I am imposing on you if you are released is that you can't go back to the scene where this occurred, and you can't have contact with the alleged victim. Other than that, you are free to move about anywhere you wish to. Any other questions, Mr. Nash?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. You can step back and get your paperwork.
Next. Hey, so
Stephen Harvey to the podium in the courtroom, please. Marisol Seifert.
So the reason I can't hit that button
chair.
is because I'm not actually in the Teams meeting. It's, they mirror their screen.
Can I have your name and date of birth?
So it's just a mirror of their screen.
My name is Stephen Harvey, and my date of birth is 12/20/1991.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harvey. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. That allegation is 1 count of aggravated assault causing temporary disfigurement. It is a Class 5 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearing will be a status conference April 9th. That will be followed by a preliminary hearing April 11th. April 11th, both of them at 8:30 downtown. On that allegation, I have imposed a $10,000 secured appearance bond. If you post that bond and you are released from custody, you are ordered not to return to the scene where the underlying events took place. You cannot have contact with the alleged victim or any witnesses, if there are any. You also cannot possess or consume any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription if you're released from custody. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harvey. You can step back and get your paperwork. Willie Miles to the podium in the courtroom, please. Shelby Odell, if you would please work your way to the first chair. Lauren Hampton, if I could ask you to take a seat in the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
My name is Willie Miles. My birthday is July 6, 1957.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miles. You are here on 2 different matters. The first matter that you're here on is a grand jury warrant. In that case, a state grand jury was convened and found probable cause to return an indictment against you. The allegations in that grand jury indictment are 1 count of narcotic drug possession for sale, a Class 2 felony, 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of escape, a Class 5 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. The grand jury warrant alleges that all of those offenses were committed June 11th of 2024. I have appointed a lawyer to defend you in the grand jury case.
Thank you.
Your next court hearing in that matter will be an arraignment hearing April 10th. It will be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. And on that warrant, you have a $7,500 secured appearance bond. $7,500. The second matter that you're here on is allegations of new charges from when you were arrested. Those allegations are one count of dangerous drug possession and one count of narcotic drug possession. They are both Class 4 felonies. I have found probable cause to support those allegations. I've also appointed a lawyer to defend you in that case. Your next court hearing on those new allegations will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th, both of those also at 8:30 downtown. On those two drug allegations, you have a $250 secured appearance bond. So your total bond for both matters will be $7,750. It is all secured appearance. If you post that and you are released, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miles. You can step back to your left. Shelby Odell to the podium in the courtroom, please. Bryson Adsuara, if you would please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Hey, what up,
Shelby
Lexi?
Justine Odell, 06/27 of 2005.
Thank you, Ms. Odell. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are one count of shoplifting, a Class 4 felony, and one count of resisting arrest, a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings on these allegations will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On these allegations, I have imposed a $2,500 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you are released from custody, you cannot return to the scene where the underlying events took place. You cannot have contact with any alleged witnesses or co-defendants, and you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions? Okay, thank you, Ms. Odell. You can step back to your left. Orrin Hampton to the podium in the courtroom, please. Isabel Lizardo, if you would please work your way to the second chair.
Hey, thank you for the follow.
Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Lauren Christine Hampton, July 23rd, 1992.
Damn, she looks
Thank
like
you
she's
very
in
much,
bad
Ms.
shape.
Hampton. You are here on 4 bench warrants. The first one was issued when you failed to appear at a sentencing hearing in an existing felony case involving being in control of a means of transportation unlawfully. The other 3 are warrants issued when you failed to appear at a probation violation disposition hearing. In all 4 of these cases, you already have a lawyer assigned to defend you, so that lawyer will continue to represent you. Your next court hearing in all 4 matters will be a status conference April 9th. It will be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On the theft of a means warrant, you have a $2,500 secured appearance bond. On each of the 3 probation warrants, you have a $500 secured appearance bond. So that means your total bond for all 4 of these matters will be $4,000. It is all secured appearance. If you post that and you are released from custody, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, I do. I now have like evidence that the stolen vehicle it wasn't true. Like I have a video of the guy saying that he
Talk to your lawyer. Talk to your lawyer about the underlying allegations in that case. So all I'm seeing you on is the failure to appear warrant in court. I have nothing to do with the underlying allegations in that case. So when you go to the status conference in that matter, talk to your lawyer, and your lawyer can tell you what your legal options are in order to get that evidence to the judge.
And what do I have to do if I want to fire my attorney and get a new one? Because
you need to talk to the trial court. So when you go to the next court hearing, you'll talk to the judge that's presiding over the facts of that case. You can tell that judge that you wish to proceed with a different lawyer, and that judge will tell you if you can do that, and if so, what you have to do.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hampton. You can step back and get your paperwork. Bryson Adsuara, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Michael San Pedro, if you'd please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Bryson Otsuara, October 14, 2003.
Thank you very much. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. The allegation against you is one count of organized retail theft. It is a Class 4 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation and appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearing will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that allegation, I have imposed a $1,000 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you are released, you cannot return to the scene where the underlying alleged event took place, and you cannot have contact with any alleged witnesses. Do you understand those conditions? Okay, thank you very much, sir. You can step back and get your paperwork. Isabel Lizardo to the podium in the courtroom, please. Richard Chavez, if you please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Yes, this is Isabel Lizardo, and my birthday is 3/29/65. Can I say something, Your Honor, very quick?
Wait until we get to the end. I'll let you talk.
Thank you.
Okay. You are here on 4 different matters. The first matter that you're here on is an arrest warrant issued after a direct complaint was filed. A direct complaint is a written document that in this case alleges one new allegation against you. The allegation is one count of narcotic drug possession, a Class 4 felony. I have appointed a lawyer to defend you in that case. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On that warrant, you have a $750 secured appearance bond. The other 3 matters that you're here on are all allegations that the charge in that direct complaint violates term 1 of your probation. In each of your probation matters, I have appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearing in those probation matters will be a revocation arraignment April 10th at 8:30. On each of the probation matters, you have a $250 secured appearance bond. So that means your total bond for all 4 cases will be $1,500, all secured appearance. If you post that bond and you're released from custody, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Okay, Ms. Lizardo, I will allow you to make whatever statement you wish to. Please keep in mind you don't have a lawyer here, and anything you say can be used against you.
No, I was just going to say that the reason I didn't come because I didn't get a letter. I didn't know nothing about no court.
That's not untypical. It is possible that no letter was sent. It is possible they tried to send you a letter and it got returned, or somehow the court knew it didn't get to you, so they issued a warrant. It is also possible that the court, when this direct complaint was filed, just issued a warrant to make you aware of that. So I don't know the underlying circumstances or the procedural history of that warrant. All I know is the warrant was issued. But when you go to court on that case, you can talk to your lawyer. Your lawyer can give you more information about what happened before the warrant was issued, and you can talk to your lawyer about that.
Okay, so when do I go to court again?
So on the new allegation, on that new drug charge, your first hearing is April 9th. On the probation cases, your hearing is April 10th. So 9th and 10th. April 9th, April 10th.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. You can step back and get your paperwork.
Next.
Michael San Pedro to the podium in the courtroom, please. Noemi Cardiel, if you would please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Michael Ramel San Pedro, March 18th, 1988.
Thank you very much, Mr. San Pedro. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are one count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and one count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support those allegations and appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. On those allegations, I have imposed a $500 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you are released from custody, you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. San Pedro. You can step back and get your paperwork. Richard Chavez to the podium in the courtroom, please. Nathaniel Quintana, if you would please work your way to the second chair. If you're able to, sir, would you pull your other arm out of your jacket?
Yeah.
Oh, they're both in? Pull them both out if you would, please. Thank you very much. Can I have your name and date of birth?
Richard Chavez, 4/15/71.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. You are here on a probation violation warrant. A petition to revoke your probation was filed. It alleges that you have violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you in the probation proceedings. Your next court hearing will be a revocation arraignment April 10th. It will be at 8:30 in the probation court downtown. On that warrant, you have a $100 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you are released, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chavez. You can step back and get your paperwork. Noemi Cardiel to the podium in the courtroom, please. Ronaldo Anaya, if you would please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Noemi Cardiel, December 15, 1980.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cardiel. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of dangerous drug possession, 1 count of narcotic drug possession, those are both class 4 felonies, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, which is a class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support those allegations, and I've appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th and then a preliminary hearing April 11th. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. And on those allegations, you have a $50 secured appearance bond. If you post that and you are released, you cannot possess any weapons or any drugs without a valid prescription.
Shannon, I did. Thank you.
Do you understand those conditions?
Yeah, but I have a question.
Sure.
If I post that, is there any hold on me?
It looks like the federal government has a hold on you.
Ooh, she's going to the
Because I wasn't going
federal.
to post it, because then, yeah.
That's sort of why I put that there. So it's up to you. If you don't post that, you'll stay in state custody and be transported to your court hearings. If you do post it, it looks like MCSO would then notify the federal government that we have you in custody and they would come get you.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much. You can step back to your left. Yeah, don't forget your jacket.
I just went on TikTok to check and was so
Nathaniel
excited for you, man.
Quintana to the
Thank you.
podium in the courtroom, please. Katie
Definitely
Fitzgibbon, if you would please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Nathaniel Andres Quintana, 10/16/96.
Thank you, Mr. Quintana. You are here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you are 1 count of narcotic drug possession, 1 count of dangerous drug possession, those are both class 4 felonies, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, which is a class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support the paraphernalia allegation and the narcotic drug allegation. I have not found probable cause to support the dangerous drug allegation. My finding of no probable cause on that dangerous drug allegation does not mean it's legally dismissed. It is possible that the county attorney's office will file charges on that allegation. What it does mean is I am not imposing any release conditions on that allegation. I'm not considering it in terms of what we do here this morning. I have appointed a lawyer to represent you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 17th and then a preliminary hearing April 21st. Both of those hearings will be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown. I am releasing you to the supervision of pretrial services, so you will get out of custody. You don't have to post a bond to secure your release.
30 minutes?
But once you are out
I'll
of
check.
custody, you will be responsible for getting to both of your court hearings. You'll also be responsible for contacting pretrial. Their contact information will be in a packet you get with your release order. So please keep that. Last, once you're out of custody, you cannot have contact with any alleged co-defendants, and you can't possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Quintana. You can step back and get your paperwork. Ronaldo Anaya to the podium in the courtroom, please. Robert Hall, if you would please work your way to the chair.
I'll check right now. I'm just editing these videos really quick that I did from yesterday, so I
Ma'am,
can
can I-
upload them.
I need you to take it off.
All right, appreciate it.
Okay, can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Ronaldo Anaya, 2/17/07.
Thank you, Mr. Anaya. You are here on an allegation of a new charge. That allegation is 1 count of being a passenger in a vehicle obtained unlawfully. It is a class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support that allegation and appointed a lawyer to defend you. Your next court hearings will be a status conference April 17th and then a preliminary hearing April 21st. They will both be at 8:30 in the Superior Court downtown.
Okay.
I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so you will be released from custody. That means it will be your responsibility to get yourself to both of your next court hearings. Once you are released, you are ordered not to have contact with any alleged victims, witnesses, or co-defendants, and you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anaya. You can step back and get your paperwork. Katie Fitzgibbon to the podium in the courtroom, please. Baritz Martin, if you would please work your way to the second chair. Can I have your name and date of birth, please?
Katie Fitzgibbon, 10/15/03.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fitzgibbon. You are here on allegations of new charges. Those allegations are 2 counts of shoplifting. They are both Class 1 misdemeanors. Because these are misdemeanor allegations that I did find probable cause to support, you are not entitled to a court-appointed lawyer. If you wish to have legal representation, you do still have the right to hire a lawyer to defend you if you want to be represented on these misdemeanor allegations. Your next court hearing will be an arraignment hearing April 23rd. It will be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll take place in the Goodyear Municipal Court. I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so you will be responsible for getting yourself to that court hearing. Once you are out of custody, you are ordered not to return to the scene where the alleged shoplifting offenses took place. You cannot have contact with any alleged witnesses, and you cannot possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. You can step back and get your paperwork. Robert Hall to the podium in the courtroom, please. Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Robert Ray Hall, 12/28/81, ma'am.
Say your date of birth one more time for me, please.
12/28/1981.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Okay, you are here on a warrant issued by the University Lakes Justice Court. It is a failure to comply with court terms warrant issued in a misdemeanor driving under the influence case. Because this is a post-adjudication misdemeanor matter, at this stage in the proceedings, you're not entitled to a new court-appointed lawyer. If you had one in the underlying pre-adjudication stage, that lawyer might still work with you if you want to contact him or her. Otherwise, if you wish to continue to be represented, you will have to hire a lawyer. Your next court hearing will be an arraignment hearing April 22nd. It will be at 1:30 in the afternoon in the University Lakes Justice Court. I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so you will be released, but it will be your responsibility then to get yourself to that court hearing.
Will do.
Once you're out of custody, in addition to getting to that court hearing, you cannot possess or consume any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. You can step back and get your paperwork. Baritz Martin or Martine, if you would please work your way into the courtroom. Aaron Jones, if you would please work your way to the chair.
Damn, it's non-stop today. That's what I'm talking about. She
Officer,
definitely got
while
some.
we're doing his hearing, could you clear everybody that's done out of the gallery?
It's going to get bad.
Please and thank you.
After this guy.
Can I have your name and date of birth, please, sir?
Baritz Martin.
What's your date of birth?
01/21/87.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Okay, you are here on a warrant issued by the state of Georgia. Before you were put on a court calendar, Arizona confirmed with Georgia that is a valid warrant. Georgia has indicated that they are willing to extradite you. That means Georgia wants to come to Arizona and take you back to Georgia. Before you came into the courtroom, did you get that big laminated card to review?
Yeah.
Did you read that?
I did read it. I didn't really understand it.
Okay, we're going to go through what it says. I just want to make sure it was provided to you and you were given an opportunity to review it. Those things are both true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Martin, as I indicated, you are here on an out-of-state warrant. You, unlike everybody else that has already gone, will have a choice to make. So I'm going to go through the 2 different options that you'll have. That's the information on that card. I'll go through them. I will give you an opportunity to ask any questions you have about either option. And the last thing we'll do is I will ask you which option you pick. Okay, first option is you can choose to waive your right to an extradition hearing. If you pick that option, I call it option 1, there's no real numbering, but if you pick the first option and you waive your right to an extradition hearing, you are not waiving any rights or defenses you have in the underlying criminal case in Georgia. You are only waiving your right to an extradition hearing here in Arizona, and you are in essence agreeing that Georgia authorities can come to Arizona and take you back to Georgia. If you pick that option, you will be held in custody here in Maricopa County without the opportunity to post a bond for up to 30 days to allow Georgia an opportunity to come get you. So option 1 is waive your right to an extradition hearing, agree to go back to Georgia, stay in custody without bond for up to 30 days. That 30-day time clock will start ticking tomorrow unless you have unresolved criminal charges pending anywhere in Arizona. If you have criminal charges pending here that have not yet reached disposition, that 30-day time clock won't start ticking until the local charges are resolved. Okay. The second option you can choose is you can choose not to waive your right to an extradition hearing. If you pick that second option, I will set an extradition hearing for April 14th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Extradition proceedings in Arizona are civil proceedings, not criminal proceedings. That means I could not appoint a lawyer to represent you. But if you pick option 2 and I set that hearing, you have the right to hire a lawyer to represent you in the extradition proceedings. The extradition proceedings end when a warrant is signed by both governors. So the Arizona governor will sign a warrant, the Georgia governor will sign a warrant. Once both governors sign extradition warrants, then you are, Arizona is legally obligated to release you to Georgia. Georgia is legally authorized then to come to Arizona and take you back. The process from the original extradition hearing, in this case it would be the 14th, to getting governor's warrant signed could take up to 90 days. In option 2, if you pick option 2, in that 90-day time period, you are bond eligible. Your bond would be set at $250,000 cash only. If you posted that bond, you would be entitled to release, but you would be required to stay in Arizona. If you did not or could not post that bond and you picked option 2, you would then stay in custody while the extradition proceedings are taking place. Okay, so hopefully, quick recap. Option 2 is you don't waive your right to an extradition hearing. I set the hearing for the 14th at 1:30, and you have a $250,000 cash bond for up to 90 days while governor's warrants are sought. Do you understand the two different options?
Yeah, I do.
Do you have questions about either option?
I do have a question about the second option.
Okay.
Because I don't have any charges here in Arizona. Is there a way to be, well, I don't know if you can release me. I don't know if I can be, like, released on leg monitor. Is that possible?
It is not possible for me to release you on an ankle monitor on an out-of-state warrant.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I really don't know which option is best.
So I can't help you decide what is best for you.
Right.
What I will also tell you, Mr. Martin, is that this hearing this morning is your first opportunity to waive your right to an extradition hearing and agree to go back to Georgia. If you don't waive your right here today and you say, I want to have a hearing, I'm not ready to waive my right to an extradition hearing, I set that hearing, and you can always elect to waive at that hearing. If you decide, maybe you talk to friends, family members, I don't know if you have a lawyer in the Georgia proceeding or not, maybe you get a hold of a lawyer, and then if you later decide, I should just waive and go back to Georgia, you can do that at that hearing on the 14th, but the reverse is not true. So if you waive your right to an extradition hearing here this afternoon, and you wake up tomorrow or talk to somebody and they say you shouldn't have done that, you can't undo it. Right. So if you pick option 2 here, you can always pick option 1 later down the line. If you pick option 1 here today, you cannot later then pick option 2.
Right.
I don't know if that helps you or not.
No, I really don't know which one's better, because, as far as the extradition here, I don't even know what that consists of.
It is Georgia's opportunity to present to an Arizona court that they have the legal right to remove you and take you back to Georgia.
Right. Yeah.
It's also your opportunity to prove to an Arizona court, if you think it is appropriate and correct, that Georgia does not have the authority to come here and take you back. So it's a legal determination as to what right Georgia has to remove you from Arizona.
Right.
Your opportunity to say none, they can't take me. Their opportunity to say we have the right, we're taking him.
Right.
Georgia's going to come pick him up.
The first option, you say if they don't come in 30 days.
Then you would be released.
Okay.
But I will also tell you, they are telling us, at least as of yesterday, so on April 2nd, Georgia authorities said they are willing to and will come get you. Could they change their mind and not come? Sure. But at least as of yesterday, they have confirmed the warrant's valid and they're willing to come get you.
Okay.
I wish she could hear us too. James, have you watched this before then, bro? Watch what?
I think I'm going to choose option. Is the food good here?
Well, it's not great here in this facility. You wouldn't stay here, though. This is a temporary facility just for processing. You would be transferred to a more permanent facility that has actual beds, and I have no idea what the status of the food there is. Probably similar to jail or hospital food. I can't imagine it's great.
I'm going to...
How am I going to watch it if it's alive? I'm watching it with you guys right now.
You want to waive your right to an extradition hearing and agree to go back to Georgia?
Yeah.
Okay, because you are waiving a right that you are legally entitled to, I need to ask you some questions just for purposes of the record. The only thing I ask is that you answer them out loud. Please don't shake
I'm
or
not
nod
a
your
time
head.
traveler.
Okay, did you read the waiver of extradition paperwork on that big laminated card wherever it is? Okay. Do you understand you do not have to sign the waiver of extradition paperwork?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to demand an extradition hearing if you picked option 2?
Yes.
Do you understand you have the right to hire a lawyer to defend you if you elected to have a hearing and picked option 2?
They haven't said he's a fugitive from justice from another state. I don't think they said what
Yes, you always have the right to hire a lawyer. So if you picked option 2, maybe I skipped that, and I apologize.
He understands.
I can't appoint one for you.
Right.
But
He's
if
just
you picked
asking.
option 2 and
He's
you set
just
that
acting.
hearing, you'd have the right to hire a lawyer.
Right.
Okay, you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
It's like option 1 or option 2.
Do you understand that if you picked option 2, you have the right to demand that warrants are signed by both the governors of Arizona and Georgia before you can be returned to Georgia?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you picked option 2 and we set that extradition hearing, you would be bond eligible on option 2?
Yes.
Do you wish to give up those rights and sign the waiver of extradition paperwork?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anybody threatened you or made you any promises in exchange for your signature on the waiver?
No, ma'am.
Have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours that would affect your ability to waive a legal right?
No, ma'am.
Similar question, but in reverse. Is there any medication that you should have taken in the last 24 hours that you have not taken that might affect your ability to waive a legal right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then I will find that you are knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily waiving your right to an extradition hearing, agreeing to go back to Georgia. I will, in just a second, ask you to step to your right and sign that waiver. Once you sign, I will sign. Once we both sign, I will notify MCSO to let Georgia know that you're ready to return. They'll have 30 days starting tomorrow, assuming you don't have local charges pending, to come get you.
Okay.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, don't ask him that.
To your right?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Martin. If you'll step up here to your right, please press very hard. That thing is kind of finicky. So
next,
press very
the
hard.
price is wrong.
We might need you to sign several times.
Okay, so the reason I said this case was going to
Sure,
be bad.
Hold on 1 second, though, because I want to make sure we get you on the recording, and I don't know if it'll pick up your voice.
You got to pay attention to what the judge said. She said, clear everybody out of the
Do
courtroom.
we have Philip and Holly Mulholland in the gallery?
Anytime the judge says to clear out the courtroom, it's a bad case.
But they're both able to be in? Okay, thank you very much, officer.
So, no, yeah, I didn't watch this. I'm watching it with you guys right now. There's no way for me to watch
All
the
right,
future. I don't have a time machine.
Back to the podium and ask me whatever your question was.
I don't have a DeLorean sitting outside, if you will.
Do I stay here in this facility or do I go to another?
You'll get transferred to another facility.
What up, Rhonda?
I don't know specifically where you'll go, but you'll go somewhere that's a more permanent facility. It's got beds, pillows, blankets.
Okay.
So that'll happen probably in the next several hours.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Martin. Good luck to you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so you just got to pay attention to when the judge is talking and they say that they say clear out the courtroom. There's always going to be something bad. That's why I give you guys a warning, because if you guys have some trauma, or I'm not trying to open up old wounds or whatnot, because sometimes it's some pretty horrific stuff. Like last night we had that dude with the bestiality. I'm not sure if you guys saw that clip, but if you didn't, please check it out on my account, and if you guys could go ahead and repost it and drop some comments on it.
All right, Mr. Jones, I am ready for you to work your way into the courtroom, please.
Yeah, hey, check it. It's the last video I posted up on my account.
Can I have your name and date of birth?
Aaron Jones, September 24th, 1980.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. You are here on an allegation of a new charge.
Looks like a weirdo.
The allegation against you is one count of indecent exposure. It is a Class 1 misdemeanor.
There it is.
I have found probable cause to support that allegation. Because it is a misdemeanor offense, the nature of that charge does not entitle you to a court-appointed lawyer. You do still have the right to be represented. It's just that if you wish to have representation, you will have to hire a lawyer at your own expense to represent you.
Look that up.
Your next court hearing will be an arraignment hearing April 23rd. It will take place at 9 o'clock in the morning in the East Mesa Justice Court. I am releasing you on your own recognizance, so you will be released from custody. You don't need to post a bond, but once you're out of custody, you will be responsible for getting yourself to your hearing on the 23rd. The date, time, address, and phone number for that court will be in your release paperwork, so please keep that in case you need to contact them for directions or any other reason. Once you're out of custody, you are ordered not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand those conditions?
I do. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones. You can work your way back to your left.
Hey, so listen to what she's going to say next.
All right, Marisol Seifus, number 36 on the calendar, date of birth 8/6/77, is not in the courtroom because she was unable to function in general population due to combative behavior. She is here on allegations of new charges. The allegations are 2 counts of aggravated assault, both Class 5 felonies, and 1 count of resisting arrest, a Class 6 felony. I have found probable cause to support those allegations. I've appointed a lawyer to defend her. Her next court hearings will be a status conference April 9th and a preliminary hearing April 11th, both at 8:30 downtown, and she has a $5,000 secured appearance bond. If anything changes after I visit her cell side, the court's final orders will be reflected in the written release order. Okay, next up I have Philip Mulholland and Holly Mulholland. If I could ask, if you both could look at me, Mr. Mulholland,
Probably should look them up.
Come back. Can you come back on this side?
Mulholland? What was the first name?
Okay.
Last name was Mulholland?
My intent is to call you both into the courtroom together and do your hearings at the same time because a lot of the information will be substantially similar. I will only do that if you both consent to that. So without looking at each other, please keep your eyes on me. If either of you does not feel comfortable conducting the hearing together with you both in the courtroom, please shake your head yes now. Okay, seeing no head shake, I will call you both in at the same time. I will ask Ms. Mulholland if you would please kind of step over to this table here on my left, your right. Mr. Mulholland, if you would, you don't have to go behind it. You can step, this black bar right here is the microphone. Can you come in front of it? I just want to create a little bit of space between you, just to avoid any concern.
And you guys are going to probably want to look them up.
Can I please have name and date of birth starting with you, Ms. Mulholland?
Holly Mulholland, 12/23/1979.
Thank you very much. And name and date of birth for you, Mr. Mulholland.
Bill Mulholland, 7/6/78.
Thank you very much. Okay, you are both here on allegations of new charges. The allegations against you happen to be the same. So both of you have 1 allegation of assault and 1 allegation of disorderly conduct. They are all misdemeanor allegations. Ms. Mulholland, based on your reported financial situation, you don't financially qualify for a court-appointed lawyer. You absolutely have the right to hire a lawyer to represent you if you wish to be represented. Mr. Mulholland, I did not have anything that gave me financial information for you. I will ask you a couple of questions in order to determine whether or not you're entitled to a court-appointed lawyer. Please don't feel obligated to answer these questions if you don't choose to. The answers to these questions, if you do choose, will only be used to determine whether you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer. Are you currently employed?
Actually, I'm just starting my own business. I've started the process this week.
Okay, do you currently have any income?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I have like $600 from a cell phone tower lease coming in, but it doesn't really start till May.
Okay, so based on that information, I will determine that you are entitled to a court-appointed lawyer to defend you. That lawyer will be appointed for you by the next judge you see at your next court hearing. That hearing for both of you will be an arraignment hearing April 29th. It will be at 1:30. It will take place in the Surprise Municipal Court. You will get that date, time, the address, and phone number for that court in your release paperwork when we're done here, so please keep that so you know when and where you need to go to court. Okay, I am intending to release both of you on your own recognizance, so it is my intent to release both of you from custody. My standard requirements upon release in a matter similar to this is to order defendants not to return to the location where the alleged events took place and to order defendants not to have contact with each other. I understand that in this case, if I were to make that order against both of you, I would be displacing both of you. So I'm willing and able to do that, but I'm not sure that makes the most sense in this case. I do intend to impose a no victim contact order, again, unless both of you consent to having contact with each other. If you do, I am willing to change that to a no unsolicited contact order, which means you could contact each other only if invited. I guess I should say no uninvited contact. But my standard order will be that you not have any contact with each other. And if you both don't, I'm trying to figure out how to say that without having a double negative. If you both wish to have contact with each other, I will not impose a straight across the board no contact order. I will impose a no uninvited contact order. I see your hand. I'm not ignoring you. I also will only order one of you. If you don't wish to have contact with each other, I will order one of you to leave the premises where this occurred. I will allow one of you to stay, and I am happy to decide who stays, who goes. But part of the reason that I brought you in together is to try and work through this so that I can make orders that are workable and that are likely to be followed. I don't want to impose draconian orders on both of you if there's no hope of those orders being followed, because I don't want to see either of you back in for violating my release conditions. Okay. Mr. Mulholland, is the content of your hand raised something that's going to help me figure out what orders to craft?
It would, yes. I think.
Sorry, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to give you the floor and then cut you off, but I do want to tell you that anything you say in here will be preserved on the recording, can be used against you. So feel free to tell me what you think is helpful in crafting release conditions, but I offer you caution discussing the underlying facts.
I just want to make a blatant statement that, we've been married for 22 years, never had anything like this happen before. I don't want to ruin our lives over one bad night when we've had a lot of stuff on our plate. I don't think it's fair to her or me. I think we deserve a little bit of a leniency here. I don't want to see her suffer, and I don't want to suffer. I mean, it was a bad day.
Sure. And I'll tell you both, this is part of the reason that I intend to release you both. I don't have any concerns looking at the facts of this case or looking at either of your criminal histories that either of you pose a substantial risk of harm to the public. I don't have any concerns that either of you are not going to show up in court. So I am going to release you. I just want to make sure that once you're out of custody, the conditions that I impose are conditions that are workable for both of you. Listen, I understand that people fall on hard times and people make mistakes and people do things they wish they wouldn't have done. And I think that you both now see what the consequence of inviting the state into your lives is. So we can't undo the fact that you're both here, but we can work together to try and carve out release conditions that work for you, get you to the next court, and hopefully help get this case put behind you. I'm trying to figure out how to do this without you. So in order for me not to impose a no contact order, you both have to consent to that. I will not allow contact if either of you says, I don't wish to have contact with the other person. So if you would, I know this is a little bit unconventional, but please work with me. If you would both please close your eyes. And if either of you wishes that the other person not have contact with you, please raise your hand. If either of you wishes for me to order that you not reside in the same location, please raise your hand. If either of you are comfortable upon release having contact with each other and residing at the same location, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. If your hand is up, you can put it down. You can open your eyes. So you both know you both have agreed to have contact with each other. You have both authorized me to consent that you be allowed to reside at the same location. So what I'm going to order is you're both going to be released. You both have to go to court at your next court hearing. Upon release, you may reside at the same location. You may have invited contact with each other. So what that means is that if either of you at any point says, I don't invite contact anymore, that person would then be the one that has to leave the residence, find an alternate residence, and at that point, then you could not contact each other.
That would be me because she's the only one that could afford it at this point. So
okay,
that would be my request.
Okay,
if someone has to go, it should be.
So if Mr. Mulholland or Ms. Mulholland at any point between now and the first hearing on the 29th uninvite contact, Mr. Mulholland will be the one to leave the premises or the marital house. You, Ms. Mulholland, could stay, and at that point you could not have contact with each other. Okay, any questions? Okay, do you both understand, Ms. Mulholland, do you understand what the final order of the court will be? Okay, Mr. Mulholland, do you understand? Okay, thank you both very much. I appreciate your cooperation and allowing me to do this with you together. I'm going to modify these. I'm going to make those orders clear in your written paperwork. Then we'll get it printed and bring it out to you. You can both step back to your left. Thank you. Good luck to you both.
Okay, so the reason I was telling you was to listen. I had no idea there was one more case. I was telling you to listen because I wanted you guys to hear at what time the court is taking place, because I know a lot of people think that these courts are not live. So I just wanted you to hear when she says, you know, this court at the 11 o'clock court is over now. I didn't know that this was going to happen right here, this whole couples therapy and whatnot. And now she's typing all angry and whatnot. And then I know somebody else was saying, hey, thank you for that. Highly appreciate that. And if you haven't done so, please do so. Hit that follow button. It's free 99. What area is this? This is Maricopa County in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, if you will. And you know what? I have seen cases like this where they bring up two people, but it's only been one other time. And it was some fugitives from Florida. Some fugitives back in, like, I don't know if it was January or December, where they brought them both in, and they had swindled out a bunch of people for like millions of dollars for making pools or whatnot, or allegedly. Thank you for the follow, G. Highly appreciate that. And I know somebody asked me, people keep on asking me to hit this button right here, the unmute button. I'm going to show you what happens if I hit that unmute button. As soon as this court is over, look, you know, I'll do it right now that she's typing. Look, I'm going to hit the mute button. Okay, I got the cursor over. Look. Okay, you guys watching? Who's watching? You hear that? You see that? I'm not in a Teams meeting. That's why I never hit that. That's why I never hit that button, because I'm not in the meeting, if you will. So in the future, if you guys want me to hit that button, this is what's going to happen. It's going to shut down the stream. It'll shut it down. All right? So trust me, I know it's there. I see it. I know people. I know you guys want to see people's faces. I want to see their faces. You better believe that. And if you don't know, now you know, right, Rhonda? There you go, if you will. What's the website you use? I'm not going to tell you. We can't let that happen. Is that cat typing? Probably. Hey, thank you. Highly appreciate that, Dale. So be it. So she could... You didn't see the one the dude that did the indecent exposure? That's what she cleared it out. She cleared it out for the indecent exposure. But for whatever reason, she ended up bringing those two together for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. It's all a secret, laughing out loud. She's mad aggressive. She's beating the heck out of that keyboard. So right now, after this one, we're going to be heading over to Judge Boyd. It's going to be that case for that trial. It's about... You know what? As a matter of fact, let me get it ready because I think it might be starting up right now. If you will.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Okay, Tracy, his is good. I need 2 more seconds on hers.
2 more, all right.